Welcome to the Designer Q&A column, a series of videos where I will answer your game development and game design questions, and hopefully be of assistance to you and many others watching the channel. First line of questions comes from one of my supporters on Patreon, Luke Bender of the Etra Games channel. I have been very curious about how you got to your position. What degree did you get and did it help you? And what projects did you complete to get your first game design job? And how did you get into the current position you are now? Now, it will be weird to start my video series about answering questions with, well, not answering the precise questions asked, but this is important. I have been hearing these questions a lot, as have been tons of other people with experience. And it's totally understandable, as I myself back in the day was the one asking this. All newcomers search for advice on how to break into the industry. Here is the answer I wish I would get. Stories of experienced people are useless, beyond just being potentially interesting stories. If you want proper help in terms of breaking into the industry, you need to ask people who have been in it for less than a year, 2 at most. If the person has been in the industry for more than that, and you use their stories as inspiration, there is a great risk that you will come out disappointed in yourself because you won't be able to come close to creating those events to find success. But when you're inexperienced, you don't know that it will be impossible to do that anyway, as the context of what would be the best approach keeps changing. Now, I could tell the history of my professional journey, and I like doing that, but it started all the way back in 2011. It is just not relevant anymore. There's barely any lesson that you'll be able to take from that. And honestly, I have little clue what it's like to break into the industry today, as being in it for quite a long time, my perspective is different, even considering the fact that I did interview a lot of potential junior designers based on their applications. But I can give you some concrete advice that will be relevant regardless if you're watching this in 2020 or 2040. First, as I mentioned, seek out people who have just gotten in. Doesn't matter if through being indie or AAA, for proper advice you need stories from those who have actually gone through recent, applicable, relevant experience. And if you are a person who has been in the industry for less than 2 years, please share your story in the comments, as it would help others greatly. And those who do read comments for advice, again, be mindful of when they were posted. Second, make stuff. Regardless of what your chosen game profession is, trying to create something related to that will help you. If anything, at least because it will show people, including yourself, that you're actually interested. You won't believe how many times I've heard from people wanting to become game designers stuff like, well, I didn't try creating anything, but I have tons of great ideas. It doesn't work like that. Never has and never will. Third, find contacts, make acquaintances. The industry may seem big, but it is actually a very tight network of people, and I assume it will remain this way. Having contacts is never a free pass, mind you. At least it hasn't been for me or anybody I know. But it will always be a helpful stepping stone to get noticed and increase the chances of getting interviews and test applications and what have you. And lastly, just be a decent human being. This is not something that will necessarily help you break in, but it is something more people should do. Be kind, be respectful to others, and remember, it takes far more effort and energy to be an asshole than it does to not be one. And why spend your energy so inefficiently, right? So, yeah, even though I haven't answered the questions directly, I hope this is a helpful collection of advice. If you really want to hear my story, feel free to ask that in person, but again, it will just be a fun story, that's it. And if you are someone with current experience of breaking into the industry, please do share your story in the comments. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to share them in the comments as well. A special thank you goes to the patrons supporting my channel. If you enjoy my content, consider checking out my campaign at patreon.com/Farlands. I'll see you next time.